point of what we do is that no one should have that kind of power.
For once, I'll level the fucking playing field.
I show people the real me. I mean, they fucking love me.
You don't know what you're dealing with. Otherworld life forms, drawn by heat and conflict. He's on safari. Lions, tigers, the bears. Oh my. You saved one life. You saved the world.
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by JEMS Art Studio. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to another Organized Chaos podcast. My name is Bobby Quarters, and boy, do we got some fun stuff to talk about this week. With me, as always, is Bob. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Not so bad, you know. I mean, we've had a bit of a rainy week here up in near the Cap City, but like it rained all day yesterday.
Nah, I don't recall if it rained yesterday, but I know there's been lots of days this week where I'm at work and it's just pouring. I can just hear it so
miserable.
Clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, just miserable.
The only perk is it
outside,
gets really loud outside. I'm like, oh, there's going to be less customers for a little bit.
Yeah. Working in food, it's a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'll have a lot of online, but not too many foot traffic inside. And the ones that do come in, I kind of have to look like, are you all right?
Yeah.
Like,
you're dedicated. I'll give you that. You're
all right, cool.
But yeah, we got a good week. We got some good stuff to talk about. We're going to conclude season 3 of The Boys, which, God, after last week, I was like, I want to watch it.
Yeah. Admittedly, I had dove right into it after we wrapped last week. I was just ready to.
I still did an episode a day, although I think I did that Monday night we did the 5th one and then the 6th one, and then I think Wednesday we just wrapped it up because it's like I'm not waiting for one more day for one more episode.
Yeah, I watched all 3, and no, all 4. Yeah, and I got about to 3, and then I went to, and then I, couldn't stay up anymore. The next day I watched the last one, and then I caught up on Marvel.
Mm-hmm. But after that we got Predator 2, which is this your first time watching it?
This was my first time watching it, and I didn't think about. I didn't think about until maybe about midway through. Like I should have maybe just recorded myself and done like reaction of it.
You never know until you're there.
Yeah. I was thinking, man, I should, because I am kind of just saying to myself a lot of funny stuff while I'm watching it.
and then we're concluding with the conclusion of Miss Marvel. A series that, to my understanding, hasn't done great as far as ratings, but as far as critic review, it's like one of the highest rated things in Marvel. I would say it's not one of my favorites, but I do really like it. I know, but we will get to it.
I mean, it's definitely well casted.
Yeah, it definitely has high points for sure.
Yeah.
But as far as news going out, there was a trailer that was released this week. A trailer for something that I thought was an interesting project by someone I'm not a huge fan of, but maybe
something
he had an interesting angle.
Yeah. I was actually very excited about this because when I had read that this film was going to be made originally, I was excited because I am a fan of this. I grew up watching like the old reruns as a kid, so I was very happy about that. My only skepticism on it was the director, because out of I want to say I've seen 5 of his movies, and I really enjoyed about 2.5 of them.
Well, I've seen 3 of his movies, and I really like the menu to one of them.
I think we should stop playing like vague book with this. We're talking about Rob Zombie and the Munsters movie. I guess even more of the behind the curtain looks. The movies I enjoyed were House of a Thousand Corpses and obviously Devil's Rejects. Both of those are very great. And the movie I only enjoyed half of was his Halloween. I kind of liked it when all the white trash stopped yelling "fuck" at each other.
Yeah, for me,
it became an enjoyable movie after that.
House of a Thousand Corpses was the movie I liked the menu to. That's a great menu.
I know. Well, I mean, you have Sid Haig just riffing you nonstop in every page.
Something, are you?
Yeah, in every page.
But yeah, I would definitely say, while I'm not a huge fan of House of a Thousand Corpses, I would say I probably like it more than his Halloween movies. Definitely more than his Halloween 2. His Halloween 2 was garbage. I feel like that's probably not brought up enough when you talk about the worst Halloween movies, probably because people forget about his remakes.
Yeah, the Free from Hell, like the follow-up to Devil's Rejects. Yeah, it took me a couple of days to get through it.
Ooh.
Like, I couldn't. I tried.
I mean, I've heard Devil's Rejects is good, but I do not have
good
experiences with Rob Zombie movies so far.
Think of it like Natural Born Killers meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I mean, that doesn't sound bad. Natural Born Killers is good.
like that road trip feel. Okay. Definitely, that's the vibe I've always gotten from it, and they kind of are on a road trip, but it's cool because, like the first one, there's like the people who are also in it, or I guess mostly the fodder for the family to kill, are like legends of the genre. Like PJ Stoles makes an appearance in there. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank right now, but I'm going to consult the Intertron.
The interwebs.
Yeah.
But, speaking of the interwebs, it's something I wanted to look up, because I heard that, like, part of the reason he's doing this Munsters movie is because he's a passion project, and he actually bought the rights to do it.
Yeah, that's what I heard, too.
That is... Looking at this trailer, I am shocked to hear that, because this is... I'm having trouble thinking of a worse trailer I've ever seen. I'll be blunt. My God. I remember... I'm sitting through this trailer, and at the 40-second mark, I paused it. I'm like, how much longer does this have left? I feel like I've been watching it for like an hour. It's like a regular 2.5-minute trailer, but Jesus Christ. Like, there's a low... Priscilla
Barnes.
Okay.
That's who I was thinking of.
All right.
And, yeah.
No, his Munsters clearly has a low-budget vibe to it. And, I can dig that. But there are certain things where I'm like... It's just, like... Number one, I want to say the makeup looks all right.
It kind of reminds me of that time that they colorized the Munster show. Or they, like... And they brought back the original cast and did it, like, in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it reminded me of, looking at it, going like, okay, this is cool. Like, this is super cool.
And I also want to stress, growing up, like, my dad was a huge fan of Munsters, and my mom was a huge fan of Addams Family. So I got, like, an equal mix of them all growing up. So I'm fairly familiar with the source material.
Yes.
And it's not like this doesn't look faithful, but this looks like essentially this is gonna be an origin story for them. Which, okay, fine. No Eddie, daughter. I can't think of the name of right now.
Or I think it was like I don't think it was a daughter. Wasn't it like a cousin or something?
Oh, maybe it was. It was
yeah, it was a cousin. It was a cousin.
It was a normal looking one that everybody called a freak.
Oh my dear, you look horrid today.
Yeah, so there's no kids. It's just Lily and creating Fred and the grandpa, and it's okay, fine. Like, and it's going for a low budget feel, but one of the first things I noticed was that there's almost a tinny quality to the microphone, which that definitely feels like a low budget thing that you might actually want to avoid if you're not actually low budget.
What a lot of it looked a lot of it did look like it was definitely like low budget, and even so, there was parts that like it looked like he and a couple of his buddies just kind of lit a room and shot some scenes over a weekend. A few scenes, like there's one where there's like a lot of backlit of green light coming on the walls, and that one just literally looks like they took a corner of like a room. All right, guys, let's just put some lights up and we'll get some of the Munster stuff filmed today.
Yeah. If you like, it's not like low budget charming, like fucking like an Ed Wood movie almost. Like there could almost be a charm to something like that. This is low budget. I don't give a shit. When I would think almost certainly he does give a shit. It is baffling.
It is, and I kind of wonder, did he purposely release a bad trailer?
I don't know. I would be tempted to put this on, like, to watch this on the podcast, but that 2-minute trailer was such a chore. It's like, I don't think I could sit through 80 minutes of it, and what if it's longer than that? I mean, holy fuck. I mean, low budget when you have a limited budget, okay, understandable. Low budget when you're shooting for low budget is a different thing entirely. He could definitely have a budget for this.
I mean, if you're going for big budget and you end up, and you get low bad or just bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like the best example I could use. Like Neil Breen.
Yeah, Neil Breen.
Yeah. Yeah, like I've tried several times to make it through one.
I've not seen it yet.
I've seen a few. I mean, bits of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's rough. It's oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez. But I'm trying to think of a better example of. But when you try to like shoot for bad and go for bad, like you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'd guarantee you there was not a single person creatively behind that who thought of taking that seriously for a moment.
No, absolutely not. And that is almost how you have to take something like that.
Yeah.
Which, like, again, like, with Rob Zombie, like, we're looking at this trailer, and it's like Neil Breen quality almost. And I know he is infinitely more talented than that. There's no reason.
And the level of acting is is almost like I'm going to say community theater.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
a lot of it looked like a Tim and Eric sketch, man.
I feel like his wife gets ragged on a lot, and I get it. He's going to cast his wife. But man, just in this trailer, I had way too much of her. It was intense. Even in this one, I'm like, oh my God, Sherry is an awful actress.
Yeah.
No, she's not like. Yeah. Like I'm not even sure if I consider her quite as bad as most people do, but she's bad in this trailer. This is 2 minutes where she is awful.
Bad.
And I think obviously part of it is that they're going for like an over the top cheesy feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not selling.
No.
Maybe the movie will be better because I think it's bizarre that this is a passion project. For it to come out this bad. But of course, passion projects have been complete shit shows before. I mean, we got Battlefield Earth out of a passion project, so.
Yeah, we also got Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Out of a passion project.
Overboard was a passion project that really should have failed in every level, but was actually kind of charming.
That Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell movie?
Yes. That is a movie that should be completely awful, but is actually kind of charming.
I did not know that was a passion project.
Yeah, that was them like desperately wanting to work together and just setting up a project for them to work together. One of those things that like almost always fails, and like that one's actually all right. That one's.
I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, We'll see if the movie's any good, but I'm going to say right now that I cannot think of a worse trailer I've ever sat through. I would rather sit through a Neil Breen trailer. Oh, no way.
The first Sonic trailer.
That horrific CGI on Sonic was at least something to talk about. That was 2 minutes that at least went by in like 3 or 4. This Munsters trailer goes by in like an hour.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I get it. Sonic looked awful, but...
He did. I wasn't even that excited about it, but when I saw that, I was like, oh. Yeah. Oh, I might see it just to watch. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, train wreck. No.
But anything you want to add before we just go into something much better?
Yeah, as of right now, I think it's going to be a stinker.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't see any hope in it right now.
I did read today that I think I can't remember where, but I did read somewhere that I think it's going to be a drop into Netflix.
Oh, really?
So that might be the better call.
I wonder if they're going to co-release it with that Wednesday show, which is almost certainly going to be better.
Maybe.
You know, and one thing I was wondering about is, last time I checked, Barry Sonnenfeld is still directing. Why couldn't Rob Zombie just hire him to do the Munsters movie? I know he already did Addams Family, but you know what? He would do better.
He understands the source material.
Yes.
Even though Addams Family Values was
I like Addams Family's Values.
I love the stuff with Debbie. I love the stuff with Debbie in that one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, everything at the Girl Scout camp I love.
Oh, yeah, no, the Girl Scout camp, or the camp.
I guess it was a summer camp because Pugsley's there, but it's mostly about
Pugsley
Wednesday.
was there,
it's
too.
Wednesday's story
there. But, yeah, it's Wednesday's story.
Yeah,
there.
and I'm 100% fine with that.
But also, all the stuff with Debbie, Joan Cusack, because she is just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
In everything.
But all right, ready for some boys though?
Yeah, let's dig into the nitty gritty of it.
Yes. Do we want to start with Donald Trump?
Well, we have to start off with I think what the first episode is, right? That we got into was here. It wasn't Herogasm.
No. That was 6 or 7. I think it was 6.
It was 6.
Mm-hmm. 5 is where we really get to meet Black Hawk. Is it Black Hawk or Blue Hawk?
Blue Hawk, yeah.
Yeah, he's like this Republican talking point machine. They call him
kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say A-Train confronts him about like being in his neighborhood and attacking all the black people in his neighborhood, and he's like, "Don't you think? Aren't you concerned that it's gonna look a little racist?" And of course, Blue Hawk's like, "Didn't you know that it's racist to call people racist? I'm sorry, am I being canceled now?" It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
The writers of the boys read comment section because that's what Blue Hawk is.
Yeah, he pretty much is. He is the OP of that uncle that site that your uncle gets his news from.
Yes, he is. But of course, A-Train does get Blue Hawk to go to the neighborhood and apologize, and it goes brilliantly well. There's not even a single mistake there. I don't even think there's anything to talk about. So let's move on. No, he freaks out and just attacks everybody there. So
yeah, and in the process, he also paralyzes A-Train's brother.
Yes, from the waist down,
which
is
Jesus. Which in the previous episodes, I don't think we brought this up, but A-Train was kind of having a lot of reconnection back with his brother because. Mm-hmm. His brother kind of stopped talking to him at the end of season 1 because he was using so much V.
Mm-hmm. But
so it was nice. Yeah, it was nice that they were able to rebuild their friendship and their bond again.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's his brother who's also really pushing him to use your position of power to speak up. You know, try to influence change. We really see kind of a change in A-Train. Not that he's perfect. I think we even talked about last week where he agrees to help with the group against Homelander, and then he turns him in, and it gets Supersonic killed.
Yeah.
So he's not making any friends this season at all. But it does feel like they're trying to put him in the right position. Probably for a hero sacrifice, I'd guess, later down the line, but we will see what they do.
Yeah, I think they might have... Yeah, if they're going to do the hero sacrifice how they did in this season,
mm-hmm.
I think that one will be a better payoff.
Yeah. Well, I feel like they're building him up to something.
Yeah.
Because
or he's just going to turn and be like, Homelander's bitch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we already have that character. That's the Deep. That is the Deep's role at this point.
A more I guess. Yeah.
If you get deep in water, he's fairly effective, but...
Yeah, but he is Homelander's bitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesus.
Because in this episode, Homelander makes him eat his friend, an octopus.
Yes, he does, and it's very sweet. And his wife, or whatever you want to consider it, the Deep's religious pairing, yes, is eager to have him eat the octopus. So fucked up, and you really get to see from the audience perspective, you get that in Ashley, because Ashley at first is like, "Ooh, this seafood's delicious," just scarfing it down, and then you just see the look on her face when she realizes exactly what's going on, just like, "Oh, this is fucked up, isn't it?"
This is a power move.
Yeah, you're making the guy who talks to fish eat seafood. Oh, that's actually fucked up.
Yeah.
But, eventually Deep just decides to be completely Homelander's bitch, although he does ask for a divorce from his wife. I am remembering that correctly, isn't he?
I think they separate.
That's right, because he wanted to bring someone else into their relationship.
Yeah.
An octopus.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was having more fun with the octopus than she was.
Yeah.
It wasn't weird at all, though.
No.
No, I think it's kind of funny how, there's always a joke about Aquaman fucking fish. But, of course, now we have the Deep, who, he just fucks
who
fish.
Does fuck
He
fish.
just absolutely.
They went hard on that joke in the first season.
Yeah, Yeah.
With that dolphin.
Yeah. Not right now, later.
Okay, I'll just stick my finger in there.
Yeah. Yeah, the Deep is pathetic.
Yeah, he really is.
He's really, there was a point where it seemed like they might be working towards maybe some sort of redemption for him, but I feel like this season, it's like, no, he's worthless. Say what you will about A-Train. The Deep is worthless beyond all point at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But of course, the whole season, a lot of the Seven stuff seems to revolve around this power struggle between Starlight and Homelander.
Yes.
With the beginning of the season starting out with Stanley Edgar pretty much in Starlight's side, which is why she's able to get a lot of stuff done.
Yeah, and the dynamic shift that we saw at the break where Head Popper, I can't remember
Newman.
The characters. Thank you, Newman.
I want to say Vicky Newman.
Yeah, she had put Stan Edgar away.
Yes.
Which is something that I'm actually now just realizing that we didn't hear anything else about her daughter throughout the rest of these other episodes.
Well, yeah, we have to see what goes with this.
Yeah.
Because what we know is that she made a deal with Stan Edgar to go ahead and slap Homelander's wrist, remind him who's in power. She betrays that and locks up Stan Edgar because Homelander agrees to give her something. And I think we might even see what it is, but it's not clear what its relevance is at all. And there still is the question of, can she pop Homelander's head? I'm sure it would probably take work, but it's not excluded.
I mean, you'd have to find a way to shut the eyes off so he wouldn't be lasering her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, we do get that scene where Newman goes to talk to Starlight after it's clear where they all stand on stuff. And
Yeah.
of course, when they leave and Starlight suddenly has a bloody nose, it's like, oh, you bitch. You.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just like, oh, she tried.
Mm-hmm.
She just tried right then.
Well, I don't think she actually tried to pop her head, but I think she was just letting her know, hey, I can get in there. I think that's all that was. But
yeah,
it's a little scary because before then there was like this thought of maybe maybe Starlight could resist it, but no, I don't think she could at all. I think
no, I think the only
longer.
one that yeah, it will probably just take a little longer.
But I would say the main driving force behind this season is kind of the storyline with Soldier Boy.
Yeah,
who they just find at the end of episode 4, and he is instantly on this revenge killing spree for his old team, which includes Crimson Countess, his old girlfriend, the duo TNT, who just appear to be like electric twins, who we see in
the
Hero
Wonder
Gasm.
Twins.
Yeah, who is it? There was Gunpowder who who was off by Billy when we talked about that last week. And then
yeah.
And I believe the other member would be Black Noir, who is still very active in the superhero community. And we do get a lot more Black Noir here. He doesn't say anything, but he does have avatars that represent him in different aspects of himself in the form of cute anime characters.
Yeah, that was a very interesting sequence, and I was here for it.
No, once it pops up, I believe it's pretty much throughout. Like, anytime Homeland or Black Noir is up, we largely see a lot of animated characters around him. It's such a divergence. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's different because you have Black Noir, who's just this dark, sinister character, and he's just got animated characters on his shoulder, just sing-songy about his thoughts.
Little cartoons.
Yeah, obviously, only the audience can see it in Noir himself, but it's kind of awesome. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But we brought up the power struggle between Starlight and Homelander, and that really takes out in the streets, where we see lots of people. I don't remember what the slogan was, but there was I believe there was a person in the crowd supporting Homelander with a "Make Vought Great Again" hat or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And then Starlight seems to have like the Antifa crowd behind her. I'm kind of digging the fact that The Boys isn't hiding the fact that Homelander is well, they never hid the fact that Homelander was a villain, but it seemed like there was this group that seemed to think Homelander wasn't the villain, and now the writer's just like, no, we're going all in on this shit. He's awful,
My favorite part was during one of those protests. Did you see the guy that looked like the QAnon shaman?
Oh, I was told about that, but I missed it. Yeah, it was supposed to be in the last episode.
Oh man!
In fact, let me see if I can. Too damn
funny.
Right
Too damn funny.
Shaman.
Yeah, they leaned hard into the, I guess that new radical right protest, or Trump supporters, I guess, is the preferred nomenclature.
Yes, Shaman.
The Boys.
Damn, I'm just getting pictures of the QAnon shaman.
The Boys season 3, episode 8.
But yeah, it's obvious he's Trump, and oh my god, pictures of Billy Butcher and the QAnon shaman. But yes, he is there. I missed him, but I'm certain he is there. Because that seems exactly what they would do. Oh my god, there's a guy with a Trump across the Captain America shield. That's disturbing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just seeing disturbing stuff, so we will not be sharing that image. But Boys Season 8, at the end, it is the rally, pretty much right at the end, where Homelander kills the Starlight supporter. Because that's what we've come to. But,
and everybody cheered.
One of the things that's actually really interesting about this season was it really stresses the importance of a parent just being there. And I feel like it's kind of emphasized where Huey gets a conversation with, was it Starlight or Mother's Milk? But he talks about his father and how his father...
Mother's Milk,
okay. He talks about how his father would just like sit there with him and make pizza rolls and watch Remington Steele. And at first he thought, geez, this guy's pathetic. And then when he realizes, no, he's at his worst moment in his life, and he is there for you.
Yeah.
It means a lot. And what we see here is that Billy Butcher, when he is with Ryan, who is Homelander and his wife's son, when he is with Ryan, I think he's actually decent. The problem is he doesn't spend a whole lot of time with Ryan. And then what we see at the end is Ryan deciding he would rather be with Homelander because Homelander wants to spend time with him. And I do not like the path this is putting Ryan on at all. We have to see how it plays out in future seasons. But, poor Ryan.
Yeah.
Homelander is... he's probably the scariest he's been this season. Definitely the most psychotic.
There's also the group of protesters and that of are still like avid followers of a Stormfront.
Yeah, there's that group too.
And they look a lot like the Proud Boys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And they probably are okay again behind Homelander at this point, because that's his rhetoric, man. Yeah, but God, I don't know if I can stress how much I love this season. This series entirely, honestly. Let's see, I'm trying to think, was there anything else I wanted to bring up? We didn't bring him up much, but Mother's Milk this season, I really like him. Although he has more questionable moments this season. Throughout most of the series, I think he's largely been the guy who's on point and honestly right. But this season is where you honestly see some cracks in his judgment, I feel. Especially when it comes to track down Soldier Boy.
Absolutely.
I guess we should talk about the whole reason they're after Soldier Boy is because they think he might be the one person who's powerful enough to beat Homelander. And they may not be wrong. The problem is Soldier Boy has this all other set of issues. Now, at first we think it might be an issue because they discover that Soldier Boy is actually Homelander's father. But that ends up not being as huge an issue because Soldier Boy is like, wow, Homelander, you're pathetic. I'll be happy to kill you. But the problem is
you're disappointing.
But the problem is he wants to kill him while Ryan is there. And it's like, dude, let the kid get out. But nope. And then once he starts crossing that line, that's when Billy starts fighting him. And things go very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we should talk about the conclusion before we head off. Because Soldier Boy's about ready to blow up. And I'm thinking, like, geez, who's going to die here?
Yeah, I thought somebody was going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it was going to be Billy, honestly.
I thought it was going to be Annie.
Annie's... I don't know. I felt like they were really setting up Billy because they said you could take 3 to 5 doses of that Temp V. And I believe throughout the series we saw Huey take 3 and Billy take 5.
Yeah.
And now... he doesn't die from that immediately, but we do see a thing where he goes to the doctor's office and they say, yeah, you have, a year to a year and a half left?
Yeah.
So essentially they're saying he's dying. So we'll see how much longer he has. Next season might be his last. I wonder if they're planning a conclusion of this series, because it does seem like they're building up to something.
Oh, absolutely. They're building to something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what. Like, I mean, they're already straying pretty far from what I understand the books do.
Yeah. Well, I think I've heard from the books. I haven't read them. I think I've heard from the books. The books conclude with a final battle between Homelander and Huey, I believe.
Homelander, Black Noir, and Billy Butcher. But in the books, Black Noir is a clone of Homelander as an insurance policy in case Homelander ever goes rogue.
Okay, so have you read them?
I went through some of them explained.
Oh, okay.
So
I
I found this like video explanation of them.
Oh, okay.
Because I was curious at some point of how close they're going, and I just did it of like what would be like the first book or season one, and like the end of the first one was like, wow, that was so good. Wonder what happens next.
Yeah, well, I do remember that reading in the books that how Black Noir is just a clone of Homelander, and that's definitely not who he is here.
No.
I do want to see what happens. One thing that I kind of wondered about was that they have a whole bunch of regular Compound B now.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, is Huey going to end up getting some of that? Because he seems to really like the superpowers, and maybe, like, obviously Temp V's not the way. Maybe if he can be more responsible with them, I could see that working out. Because obviously he's not ready for him this season.
No.
But it does seem like something that is important to him. So I am interested to see how that plays out. Because I could see that.
I am too. Because in the show, they all were on V by the end of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so... or not the show, but the book.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, the character that dies is actually Queen Maeve, in case you're wondering. Except they actually managed to give her a happy ending, because she survives, and she gets to run off with her girlfriend, because usually we found when you get really blasted by Soldier Boy's power, you lose your powers. So she doesn't have powers anymore. So it was actually a nice ending for her. I thought she was an interesting character. Unfortunate that she's gone, but then what else do they have to do with her?
Yeah.
I feel like they've given her a full arc.
Yeah, I believe she died. I believe Homelander killed her in the book.
Well, he kills... I didn't bring that up, but Homelander does kill Black Noir here.
Yeah, he does. He does kill Black Noir.
Yeah, he finds out Black Noir actually knew about Soldier Boy being his father, and Homelander's like, oh, you're dead.
You can't be honest with me.
God, like, how much of the 7 is left at the end of this episode?
Well, I don't even think they ever had 7 the entire time.
Well, I think they had 7 for... Since the beginning of this series, the number in the 7 has been very all over the place. But I think they had 7 for, like, a heartbeat. Because for a little bit there, it was Homelander, Maeve, Starlight, Black Noir, A-Train, Deep, and Supersonic.
Oh, yeah.
So we had,
in
like,
this
7
season,
for, like, what? 1 or 2 episodes?
Yeah, well, I know, but, like, last season we did have the 7 for a while. Because it was with Stormfront.
Yeah. So obviously Supersonic's dead. Black Noir is dead. So we're down to 5, and who's even in the 7? Because Starlight officially does her resignation and officially just joins the boys in this season.
Yeah, she quits. She went live on Instagram, and she also sold out a Homelander on Instagram too.
Which was nice.
That was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, Starlight's awesome. But yeah, we have so Starlight's out, Supersonic's dead, Maeve's out, Black Noir's dead. Do we have 3 members in the 7 right now? They have
the
lots
Deep
of filling right now.
They have the Deep.
Yeah, the
Homelander.
Yep.
And I'm sure they're gonna make Ryan.
Well, A-Train's still there too. A-Train was surprisingly missing through a lot of the final battles.
Yeah.
So we have to see how that works out.
I think he's really starting to question his place.
Yeah.
in the 7 and at VOT.
I think he's really questioning what side he chose, because he keeps on having a chance to choose the right side. He keeps on choosing the wrong side. And he's seeing what that's doing to his brother. And
it ends up just backstabbing him or betraying him and not really working out for him.
So, God, I want to see next season already.
Yeah, I do too.
Good. I'm trying to think. This might be my favorite show airing right now. That being said, I am really enjoying my rewatch of Stranger Things as well. So, but yeah.
Oh, are you all caught up?
Not yet. We made it most of the way through season 2, and season 2 is better than I remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to see. But are we ready to talk about Predator 2?
Okay, yeah.
Predator 2. So you hadn't seen this one yet.
No, I hadn't.
What were your thoughts going into it?
Well, I kind of figured it would be kind of like a crime mystery. Danny Glover would be finding these cases of people being strung up and murdered, and he's trying to solve it the whole time. Like a murder mystery is really what I thought I was expecting.
Yeah. Well, one thing that they do here, because there's almost a mystery of what's hunting them in the first one.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't hide behind that subtext at all because it's Predator 2. The audience knows. So we start getting Predator kills pretty early on, and we start seeing what's going on. Now, the storyline you just described is essentially what's going on for Danny Glover in this movie from his perspective. But that's not what the audience is seeing.
No. And I'm happy that I got that the way that I did.
Yeah.
I'm very happy, and I'm very pleased with it. Also, last week I had mentioned that Henry Kingi was in both of these movies. Yeah. In the first one, he drove the truck into the military shack. That actually I doing more research for this, or a little bit of research on this, I had to look up that scene again, and I found one of those kill counting channels. Yeah. And they did that, and I believe it was 65 people died in that 5-minute action sequence.
No, that action sequence.
65 people.
Yeah.
I think on the one it was numbers 9 through number 9 through 60 or 94, and it's Jesus.
Well, I mean, speaking of kill count, because this is essentially Predator in the city, I feel like we get a lot more Predator kills. Maybe not more overall kills, but we get a lot more Predator kills in this movie.
We do,
which makes sense.
We do get a lot of Predator kills, and it's great.
Yeah, well,
I loved it.
I mean, you just saw this. I maybe saw this 10 years ago. This is one I never got around to watching, and I feel like it falls victim to the fact that Arnold didn't return. Because if you think about, there is actually a decent story behind you bring back Arnold, and you have a Predator come to Earth, and it wants to track him down specifically because he's one of the humans that has defeated a Predator. There's an interesting story there, but obviously they couldn't get him back. That being said, they did get a cast for this movie. A pretty impressive cast. They did. Obviously, we got Danny Glover as the main guy. He's the cop.
He plays he plays a police lieutenant in Los Angeles who, in this movie, is not too old for this shit.
No, but you can tell he's grizzled as fuck at this point.
And he didn't have as many sequel commitments either.
No. But, who else is... Oh, well, we get Bill Paxton as his new partner.
Coconut Pete is in this.
Yes, and I'm always up for more Bill Paxton. He's always fun to watch. You get Gary Busey as the government asshole who comes in. He's kind of taking over the cases,
And he is just next fucking level Busey. It's fucking great.
Well, that's one of the things I like. Because we have Danny Glover, Bill Paxton, and Gary Busey. And when I tell you those 3 actors are in this, they are exactly the characters you expect them to play.
Yeah.
To a T.
Bill is absolutely over the top, just that guy.
Yeah. Danny Glover's the cop that's seen some shit. He's starting to get a little bit burnt out. He's not burnt out yet, but he's starting to get burnt out. He's getting annoyed with all the rules. Bill Paxton is just a sleazy, essentially car salesman like he plays in True Lies, except he's a cop here.
Yeah.
And Gary Busey is just Gary Busey asshole level. It's exactly who you expect, and there's kind of a charm to it with this movie. Like I said, I maybe saw it 10 years ago, and I was kind of surprised how much I enjoyed it. This isn't nearly as good as the first one for many reasons. Technically, I could tell you lots of effect shots where I feel like they kind of half-assed it.
Well, the guy who I said was in both of these, Henry Kingi, he is actually the guy Scorpio, the gang member.
Oh,
the
nice.
dude who takes the guy who takes the nose full of cocaine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's him. And then I started looking at other stuff he had done, and he has a long career of a stuntman. And a lot of the time, it's like a featured, like stunt or sequence. Like in it said Mugger in Batman Returns. I found a screenshot of that scene, and yeah, he's the guy that Catwoman like cut his face up.
Oh wow, okay.
And then I'm thinking, wait, I've seen that guy in a lot of movies.
Yeah. Little bit roles. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, look up his IMDb. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah. Well, he's not the only returning actor though, because actually the guy who played the Predator, it's the same actor in both, even though it's not the same Predator, obviously. Same actor.
No, it's not. It's the same actor, but
yeah,
and it fucking talks.
Yeah. Well, this I think that what this movie does is, okay, we don't have Arnold back, but I feel like it does a lot of the same stuff that the first one does, but it does enough variation to not feel like we're rewatching the same movie. So obviously, it's a predator pursuing people who he thinks is going to be good prey. In this case, it's Danny Glover, who's a really good cop.
Yeah.
Who likes to yell, "Hey, assholes," before he shoots somebody.
He did yell, "Hey, assholes," a lot. One of the notes that I took here was like some of the cinematography, I'll say, like from those rooftop shots early in that first raid sequence.
Yeah.
Like some of them are fucking gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
But like there's some great cinematography throughout this whole film. But I do agree with you about the effects. There's a few of them that do look a little phoned in, and a little that it's clear they're shooting with the screen behind them.
Yeah. Well, I think the most obvious one, there's two actually I think are really obvious. The one that I remember really sticking out was the Predators at the end. When Danny Glover actually does get his win, and you get the Predators kind of uncloak, they look so pasted on. And the way it looks the most obvious is if you look at their feet, because there's supposed to be a whole bunch of smoke there, and rather than try to fade it into the smoke, it literally just looks like they just
they're cut off at the knee.
Yeah, they just cut them off at the knee. It's like, guys, could you not fade that section? Just fade it so it looks like it's going into the smoke.
Just a little bit of keen.
Yeah, it's called a crossfade. It's going. Well, I was gonna bring up the other effect shot that it's just weird. So Gary Busey essentially dies when the Predator like shoots a rocket and destroys him, and then in a fight between the Predator and Danny Glover 1-on-1, suddenly Gary Busey comes in with some weird charcoal marks all over him. He's like, "I'm gonna finish this," and then like 30 seconds later, the Predator throws that disc thing, cuts him in half, and we see his legs fall, but his top half is still floating up there somehow. Like, we never see it fall.
Okay,
it's like,
yeah.
What? And
yeah, I was more thinking like, okay, what, did it bust? And just because it was CO2 that was in there, right?
Yeah, it was,
So, would it freeze the top half to the meat?
I don't think so. I don't think
it would also freeze all the liquid, like the entrails and what have you.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even if maybe the gun's going off, I won't think it'd be enough to actually like freeze him there, because it's obviously not the whole temperature like that, because Danny Glover's in there without one of those suits. So yeah, it seems like it's mainly normal temperature in there. That being said, one thing I did think was interesting was how obviously Gary Busey and his underling Adam Baldwin knew about what happened to Arnold in the jungle, and they had this building set up to be a trap for the Predator to capture it. And they're playing.
They had the man called Jane.
Yes, And they had a plan to capture the Predator alive, which I actually don't understand at all. Like, I understand, like, they want to capture his technology. But are they thinking if they capture him alive, he'll talk?
Yeah, how are they going to open up a line of communication?
Yeah, no. What I'm thinking is, okay, so you don't want to blow him up, but, like, yeah, shoot the crap out of him. Just, obviously, you still kill him.
Yeah, because that won't piss him off.
Yeah, it just strikes me as obvious. It's like, yeah, okay, I get wanting to go for technology, but what are you doing? What are you... But I do think, like,
I almost just want to, like, smack him in the wrist. That's a bad government.
Yeah. But, like, they have this whole plan to capture him, and it's not the worst thing. Like, they have, like, this building filled with, like, this dust, and the dust prevents him from cloaking. It's like, okay, that's kind of clever. And they also have these suits that reflects the heat, so he can't use his heat vision on them. It's like, okay. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they have anything to prevent him from seeing the heat off the lights. Which, I don't know. Maybe don't go in with lights, especially since it's not that dark in there. I don't know. If I'm trying to hide from something, I probably don't have a huge giant light bulb on my shoulder. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, also every member of Danny Glover's team, one by one, starts getting picked off by the Predator.
Yes.
The first after, we open up with the giant, like, gunfight.
Yeah.
In the middle of the streets, like a fucking war zone's going on.
It's like
and I guess it's like two street gangs.
Yeah.
Like the Scorpions and the Jamaicans.
Yeah, and it seems like set up like the dark future world in Demolition Man, 1997, which I think it is supposed to take place in the future like that. It's one of those things.
Well, yeah. This is like 1990 is when it was released.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to take
and
place
1997 is when the film takes place. Yeah.
Far off future.
I did kind of love that. I did kind of love the panning shot of that that underbrush and trees. Mm-hmm. Where it looks very similar because you see like the kind of palm tree, but they don't show you; they just show the leaf of it. So you're like, "Oh, are we back in the jungle?" Oh no, it's Los Angeles.
It's in the jungle. Urban jungle.
It's in the concrete jungle.
Yes,
the one where you have a long-haired ginger guy going. Well.
But yes, it gets. I believe his name is Danny, the guy who's obviously his friend. But
Danny,
yeah, it gets him first. Although he does find a piece of the Predator's hook thing.
Yeah, but he was investigating a crime scene that we see of these Jamaicans they bust in during sex time for a Scorpions member, and then they proceed to have some sort of like ritualistic slaughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they already have the dude hung upside down for the Predator.
And the Predator's like, oh, my work's halfway done.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah. I'm going to kill you for your troubles and skin you.
Nice. But yeah, one thing I do think this movie does a great job with is it does manage to kind of expand on the Predator mythology a little bit. Like, we see a young child point a toy gun at the Predator and shoot, and you see the Predator's instant reaction is to scan the situation. It's like, wait, what's going on? It finds out it's a fake gun, and it leaves the kid alone. And it like, we see it in the first one, but it really explores the idea that it's only going after people who are armed.
Yeah, and then it's attacking those who are armed.
Yeah, so, like, cops and drug dealers and stuff like that. That's who it's going for. The other thing is one of the cops. One thing that's worth pointing out before I get to that is Bill Paxton, despite being a super sleazy character throughout this whole movie, and it's brought up how he is the rumor is he got his partner killed by just being, like, irresponsible. He probably gets one of if not the most honorable death in this movie.
Yeah, he does.
Because he tells the woman cop he is with, get the people out of here, I'll hold them off. Now, I don't think he's planning on dying. I think he's imagining that, I have a gun, I'll be able to take it out. It's not going to be a huge deal. But obviously he doesn't, and he's good to his word. He holds out. You know, he's at the point where like he finds like a golf ball or something. He just throws it at it because he's like, fuck it. But it's kind of cool. Like you give his character a little arc, and it's kind of nice.
No, it is, and they did it so subtly too.
Yeah, it's not in your face about it. It's like they establish that he's kind of a loose cannon, but then he does the right thing, you know.
Well, the other detective in the team, or officer, Leona, she goes back and she gets attacked where she dies almost.
Yes.
But she is pregnant, and we never hear anything else about that the rest of the movie.
Well, she doesn't die, but...
No.
Yeah.
She's pregnant, though.
Yeah.
But we don't hear anything else about her baby.
No, but... Well, what we do know is the Predator scanned her and saw something in her belly, and then next thing we know, we hear that she's pregnant. It's like, oh, so it's not going to kill pregnant women either, or people, I guess.
Yeah. That's good.
But yeah, I think it does a good job kind of expanding on it without giving it too much. Like, it's not like we feel like the Predator's neutered at all. This is still a scary alien monster thing.
I really also love that small armory that Danny Glover was rolling around with in his trunk.
Yeah. Just so upset, like, holy shit.
Like that whole locking and loading scene intercut with like them just trying to look around, trying to find it was just fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Well, Danny Glover's awesome in this. I think he kind of sells it. Like he's obviously not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he kind of sells just being like a decent cop who's honestly kind of creative. Large reason he's able to even beat the Predator is because he's able to get that disc weapon that the Predator uses, and holy shit is that thing useful. I mean, I think one of the first moves he does once he steals it is he cuts off the Predator's arm, which that's gonna make it a bit easier.
Yeah, he cut off his arm when he was trying to activate his self-destruct thing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, and the Predator fucking talks in this.
Yeah, we get a little bit of the Predator talking in this.
So, I have a question for you, since you've probably seen this movie. You've seen it more than me.
Yeah.
So, that theme that kept playing throughout with the xylophone that was in there, did you hear it very faintly? Like a ding, 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 ding,
I'm not sure.
Ding, ding.
No, I don't know if I picked up on that one.
There was a theme that played throughout the movie, and it featured like a xylophone in it.
Really?
And I kept hearing it, and the only thing it kept reminding me, like from what like it sounded a lot like to me, was definitely Holy Grail.
Oh, really? I did
like that
not
opening
pick up on that, but now I'm going to be listening to it like a hawk next time I watch it in like 5 years or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing I will say about this movie. With the first one in existence, I don't really feel the need to watch this one that often because it's not as good. But it is good, and it's different enough to not feel like just a copy.
Absolutely.
Now, I feel like we can't talk about this movie and not bring up the scene that spawned its own franchise.
Yeah.
The scene on the alien ship.
The xenomorph skull.
Yeah, where like they're just
That's
like, hey,
definitely a xenomorph skull.
Yeah, they were like, hey, what can we put in here? Cool. Oh, this studio owns the Alien franchise, so let's put a xenomorph skull in there. And boy,
as like kind of a nice, as you know, the fans will just think that's really cool.
Yeah. Now
it'll just show how badass Predator is.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's the same franchise. Now we need to do crossover movies. Ugh.
Yep.
And we got them. The first one was PG-13, so that lets you know what quality movie we're looking at there.
Well,
and the second
then again,
one was
they were
much
making
worse.
They were making horror films that were PG-13 at that time.
Well,
almost every horror film that came out was PG-13.
That's true, but the second one was a hard R, and it was so much worse. It was so much worse. It's not even.
It was a hard R, but it sucked.
Yeah, it was a hard turd too.
Yeah. I mean, at least it did go like it. If it was gonna go hard R, I really wish it fully committed like the Dread remake.
Yeah. Oh God, that was a good one.
Because that was good.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah. Carl Urban once again being awesome.
Yeah, just being fucking amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say if you like the first Predator movie, I would absolutely say check out the second one.
Yeah,
it's good.
definitely.
It's not as good, but it's good. It's just different enough to work. Are we ready for Miss Marvel?
Oh yes.
All right, so Miss Marvel. The last 3 episodes. This was a fun series.
This really was. I did really enjoy this series.
I know. Obviously, the narrative around it is, it didn't get particularly high ratings as far as viewership, and essentially what everybody's saying is that nobody wants to see a Muslim or Pakistani teenager story. Now, while they're saying that, I want to say some of the historical stuff with Pakistan and some of the cultural stuff in this show. That was probably some of my favorite stuff.
Yeah, it was really fascinating, actually. And can I also just say this? That food looks so good.
Yes.
Oh, man. I was like, I don't care what that is. I will eat it. What is it? It's delicious is what that is.
Mm-hmm. All right, but I actually had to... actually, I'm looking it up right now because I was interested because they keep on talking about the partition, and it actually becomes a story point where she travels back in time to the partition.
Yeah.
And what I'm bringing up right here, and it does have to do with Pakistan, so I imagine it's it. The partition of India in 1947 divided British India into 2 independent domains, India and Pakistan. Okay. So that was the formation of Pakistan. That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, it just seemed like a chaotic time. And
that did.
It's not...
No, even looking...
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just even thinking about that, like government agencies trying to come in and move masses.
Mm-hmm.
Masses, like... God.
Yeah. No, it's kind of an interesting historical thing, which I didn't know about because I'm not super familiar with that region.
Yeah, neither did I, and I kind of want to read more about it now.
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me of what they did in Watchmen with the Tulsa massacre. A little bit of U.S. history I didn't really know about until that series, so it's kind of cool to bring stuff like this up, to bring it more into our view. God, I am not coming up with words today. Every word I want to come up with, what, huh? But yeah, it's Miss Marvel. It's I do want to say not as good as the Watchmen series, and I think the Tulsa thing's very serious. But still, this is something I didn't know about, and now this series got me looking into it. No.
Well, yeah, and with the Watchmen, I looked into the Tulsa. Yeah, that was monstrous. That's fucking horrific.
And,
that's fucking horrific.
And the fact that they're obviously like not wanting to teach about it and stuff like that. It's like, ooh, that's something that
is even more.
About it. Yeah,
it needs to be talked about. It like I don't know. In regard to that and education, I feel that knowledge comes from education, whether it's a success or a failure. And sometimes from our greatest failures, we can receive the greatest lessons.
Mm-hmm. No,
some people don't. And I'm trying to be as bipartisan about this as I can be, but our country's most embarrassing factors of history is the majority of which has not been taught and even glossed over for years. And I just feel that we just need to learn from our mistakes to be better.
Yeah. Well, the first step from learning from our mistakes is to acknowledge that they even exist.
Yeah.
And then you can evolve past it. It's important to learn about all this stuff. It's important to know. And like they talk about not teaching in school. It's like, no, I want my kids to learn this in elementary school. I want them to learn about it early so that way they can start, thinking about it. Just like, we can teach America's great. And I do think there are great elements to American culture, but we got some darkness too.
Yeah.
We can't just ignore one because we want to like talk about how great we are, especially if we want to become better. We have to acknowledge that there are sins in our past. And I think, we're getting a little bit from Miss Marvel here because that's not so much America's past, but it's the same type of thing. No. I think it's important to learn about all this stuff.
Really, really quickly, I want to get back right into Miss Marvel, but I do want to recommend a book. If you have not read this, I will recommend this to you too. The name of the book is called "Lies My Teacher Told Me" by James W. Loden, and it's definitely a book that goes over a lot of like the atrocities of history, and this pretty much covers all the stuff that the school books left out.
Yeah.
But yes, and something as small as a comic book television series is engaging in real world conversation.
Yes.
And some people say that this material carries no weight and substance.
Yeah. No, it absolutely can, and I think it's important to talk about all this stuff that happened.
It is.
And like I said, I think the Pakistani history stuff, the cultural stuff, some of my favorite stuff in this series. And it's not to say I don't like Kamala Khan as a character, because I think she's actually a really good character.
Very lovable.
Yeah, you just like her. She's not typical superhero material, but she's a fangirl. She loves superheroes, so she's embracing it.
Yeah, she's just all about it.
Yeah.
What I also love is like how quickly in this one, I guess it's discovered, well, I guess we'll jump around with it, but when her parents found out, just how on board they were.
Yeah.
Just immediately on board.
At first, it seems like she's gonna hide it, and then like her parents find out. She decides to tell her parents, and they are just like, "Oh, that's awesome!
Cool, that's awesome." You're not mad? And her mom's like, she's like, Kamala, all those other mothers, they could say their daughters do this. My daughter does this. My daughter's the best.
And of course, her dad helps come up with her name, because I don't remember what language, but translate Kamala in some language means Marvel, and of course, so Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
And of course, she's a fangirl of Captain Marvel, so it's gonna happen.
It works. Yeah. And we already know a crossover is happening.
Yeah.
That was released at D23 or 22.
Yeah.
21, right? It's coming
21,
up. 21,
yeah. But yeah, the new movie is obviously it will have Kamala Khan and Captain Marvel in Captain Marvel 2, and probably Monica Rambeau.
And Monica Rambeau. I've heard the three of those are going to be in it. And while we're talking about, Captain Marvel and Brie Larson, the final scene in this series featured Kamala getting sucked into what looked like almost those wormholes from Doctor Strange. Not quite a star, but just it looked like she got like pulled out of something.
Yeah, it was something weird happened, and then she was looking like Captain Marvel. So Brie Larson gets a little
then Brie
cameo.
Larson is standing there.
Yeah.
And I think it actually was Captain Marvel, I want to say Jane Foster, but I know that's not the name. Why am I drawing a blank?
Danvers?
Carol Danvers, thank you. Yeah, and it was Carol Danvers just looking around going, oh, I kind of like the moment of her looking and seeing all the Captain Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of realizing, oh, God, I'm in a fan's room.
Well, no. I don't think that's what was going on, because my daughter pointed out to me, because she's read the comic books. One of the first storylines for Miss Marvel is, one thing she can do in the comic book is shapeshift. And because she's a huge Captain Marvel fan, one of the early arcs is her shapeshifted into Captain Marvel.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's what we're seeing
that's
there. Yeah.
Awesome.
And that's
really awesome.
And that's probably what we're going to see in the Marvels. We're going to see Kamala Khan because that was part of the storyline. She was stuck in that form. She didn't know her powers, so she just becomes Captain Marvel, and she's like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm Captain Marvel, but I'm stretchy.
Okay, so I guess that's what I'm already starting to build an idea of what the next movie might be.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
no,
cool.
Immediately it seems clear to me.
Thank you, Marvel.
That she's going to be going around as Captain Marvel, and Captain is going to catch Captain Marvel's attention. And then, I think that's pretty obviously how they're going to meet. Obviously, I think she's going to walk around as Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel's going to be like, hey, what's going on? And Kamala's going to be like, I have no idea. Kamala's going to...
I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah. You're not a fangirl, are you? No.
No.
What's the right answer? But yeah, this is just a fun show. Yeah, I really feel like the hatred for it comes almost universally from people who just didn't bother to watch it, and I'm really getting annoyed with those people voicing their dislike of something without actually watching something. I just stop criticizing stuff you haven't seen. That doesn't seem like a big ask.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're allowed to go up there and say, hey, I trust people who say this, they don't like this, and they say they don't like it, so I'm not checking it out. You know what? I'm fine with you having that stance, but don't go out there on a public platform and say it sucks if you haven't seen it. That's a little thing I'm just throwing out there.
And if you have a hang-up about, like, learning about another nationality's background and history, I don't know. I don't want to say tough shit, but I mean, okay, maybe that's just not for you.
Yeah, I mean, you
don't bash it because it's not. There's still a large amount of people how that is their story, and it matters to them to see representation like this.
Yeah,
like I can't really understand fully what that representation and how that must feel to see that. But I mean, I can imagine it must be great, other than just seeing more of the same whitewash.
Yeah, exactly.
Caracata.
Yeah, Hey, listen, I loved seeing the first Spider-Man movie. And in fact, that's probably about the closest I could think to someone, a Pakistani, possibly seeing this, would be my feelings during the first Spider-Man movie. Just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is happening.
This is so cool. Yeah.
Now, that being said, since then, we've gotten 8 Spider-Man movies.
Lot.
And that's not even counting the animated one, which is great, by the way. You should watch the animated one if you haven't.
The Into the Multiverse?
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse.
Or Into the Spider-Verse? Yes, it is amazing.
Yeah. But, yeah.
I dare say spectacular.
Yes. It's amazing. Spectacular. Peter Parker. Wait, that doesn't work. Web of? No. But, yeah. Honestly, representation matters. It just needs to be well written. That's always been my argument. It just write it well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miss Marvel, if you haven't checked it out and you're mildly interested, check it out.
Check it out.
I would say that
it's cool.
Mostly the beginning plays out a lot like a teenage comedy, which it's unique. It's something different. But I don't feel like it's that way. It's definitely not that way throughout. And towards the end, you start getting more historical stuff. And like the final episode, just kind of a cool little superhero action story.
Yeah. And, at the end, we get, like, the big hero moment.
Yep.
We get her big hero moment of her just running through the city.
Yeah, which is nice. And
it was so cool.
It is interesting to have this relationship be that her parents are 100% on board.
Yeah.
One thing I will say that I was disappointed at is that they take all the time to establish that she is a cosplayer. Not a great cosplayer, but she's a cosplayer. But in the end, it's just her mom who makes the costume. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, come on, guys. Why set that up?
Well, I think it was more at the end when her mom made that suit. I think it was kind of more of a surprise to her that I'm sure that, she learned how to do a lot of that from her mom.
Oh,
and her mom probably just, did it just for her. Probably took one that she had already had that she was working on. She's like, no, I'm going to make this better.
And I won't mind if that was established. Maybe it was a costume that she had put together and her mom's like, here's my version here. That would work better for me. But yeah, establish she's working on a costume, I think. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, good show.
Great show.
Are we ready to close out?
Yeah, I think we can.
Okay. But we do have some fun stuff next week. So next week,
yes, we do.
We'll be talking about the entire filmography of Rob Zombie. We cannot wait. No, next week, what's on schedule right now? Okay, so we got Predator 3. I remember really liking that one, so we will see if rewatch.
That's the one with Adrian Schnoz.
Yeah, that one has
right?
a huge cast in it. That one has Adrian Brody, Danny Trejo, Lawrence Fishburne, Topher Grace. There's probably more than I'm thinking of. Yeah,
that's right. The Toaster,
yes.
The Toaster.
Topher Grace versus the Predator. I'm sure that goes well.
He's gonna kill him with snark.
Yes.
In this movie, the Predator is played by Kurtwood Smith.
Oh God. I kind of want to see that now.
I might have to edit together a clip. I think I'm going to for next week.
But my daughter actually had a request for next week, so I put it on there. The new Jordan Peele movie, Nope.
Okay.
And then we got Ghoulies.
I actually was gonna see that if we weren't.
Yeah. Well, actually, you could bring it up.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I've seen enough of the. I've seen a trailer for it almost every time I've had to go to the theater. So every time I just kind of go, yeah.
I'm a little burnt out on the trailer. That being said, he's done Get Out and Us, and those are both good movies. So I'm on board.
He's covering UFOs, aliens.
Yeah.
I'm so here for that.
Yes, I might be burnt out on the trailer, but the actual movie, I still want to see. So
yeah,
we will be covering that next week.
I'm happy that was her request, and the request wasn't Elvis.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Who's the guy who does that? That's not a guy who's fairly good, but
that super stylistic dude.
He's definitely has his own style. God, I'm just gonna drive me nuts. Who does Elvis? It's Tom Hanks.
I call it type.
Baz Luhrmann.
He does. He definitely has that. I wish I was Taika Waititi style.
No. Well, I think he's been around longer, to his credit.
He has.
Yeah,
I think he might have.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not gonna lie.
No, really? Moulin Rouge?
That's his biggest one, yeah. Mm.
He also did Romeo and Juliet, didn't he?
Did he? Possibly.
Because that was pretty big, too.
Yes, it was. I'm not even seeing it in his top, so maybe he didn't. No, Romeo and Juliet's in there. Why is that in his top 4? That's a pretty big movie.
Yeah, because that one is way better of a movie.
I'm not a huge fan of that Romeo and Juliet. I will admit, I think.
Okay, fair.
I think it's
style.
It's a bit too jarring for me to have them speaking in Old English while pointing guns at each other. It's a dissonance that doesn't quite work for me.
and driving around in lowriders.
Yeah. That being said, maybe if I rewatch it, I'd like it. That came out in 96, so I probably saw it 96 or 97. So it's been a while.
It's very stylized, and Paul Rudd hasn't aged a day.
I think Paul Rudd might have de-aged a little bit.
Yeah, he hasn't aged a day.
I always think it's funny when people do the Age Up program and they put the Marvel actors in there. It's like, here's Tom Holland in 30 years. Here's Robert Downey Jr. in 30 years. Here's Paul Rudd. And it's just the same fucking picture.
It's the same picture, yeah.
It's like that. And my response is always, I don't know if that's accurate. I don't think Paul Rudd would look that old.
Oh, no.
I don't think he would age that
I think he would
much.
I think he would have gray hair in his stubble on the left side of his cheek.
Maybe.
One hair. Maybe. And that's if the light is right.
You may not. You blink and you miss it. But, we definitely got some fun stuff to look over next week. So, everyone have a good one.
Take care.
The freeze frame is very important. I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job. I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.